Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Marcia Erickson, and as usual, I am your host for today's conversation. Today, we are interviewing Wendy Hermann from Open Bay Auto. She's going to be telling us what it's like to open this new innovative type of business, her business journey into ownership, the challenges that they faced, the wins along the way, and she's going to give us a real peek into what it's like to launch, build, and run a business. So, welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for listening to us today.
I'm super excited to have you here. This is going to be a really fun conversation. Before we dig in, I'd love for you to give us just a quick background or a long background on you and your husband and the innovative business that you're creating here in the Quad Cities.
All right, thank you. So, as I said, my name is Wendy Hermann, and I am the owner of Open Bay Auto, which I like to call it boutique auto care, which is kind of a new phrase that's not often heard when you hear auto repair and boutique in the same phrase. My husband and I, we own this company together. We've started it. It was a passion project of ours. We both have worked in corporate America for probably the past 20 some years. My husband was a senior master technician before that, and we both worked in corporate America and decided it was time to go do something of our own. And this was, as I said, it's a passion project of ours that we've been very excited about. This idea, I hate to show my age, I hate to talk about my age, but this all started many, many years ago when my husband was in school to become a senior master technician, and his sister was in cosmetology school, and they were sitting around talking, and they're like, wouldn't it be fantastic if you could take auto repair and then you could go ahead and put that with a salon experience, whether it be a hair salon, nail salon, massage therapy, whatever it could be. So that way, when you're getting your car taken care of, you can also take care of yourself. And what a fantastic idea, I will say. And since then, it's been a little nugget in the back of our heads. Obviously, we didn't start it right away. It's been sitting there kind of festering, if you will. And at
Yeah.
this point in our life, we were ready to do something new. And this idea came back up. And that's exactly what we launched with Open Bay Auto. It is a boutique auto care facility. So it is a full service auto repair facility. We don't do body work, but everything else. And then we do have a nail salon on site as well. So people can come in and get their nails taken care of. Now, I will say the front end is also very, very different when you walk into the lobby. It feels more like you're walking into a boutique than it does an auto repair facility. So I have a giant reading wall full of books that have been donated for people. You know, we have a fireplace, we have comfortable seating. I have what I call the fuel bar. And what that is you can make dirty sodas, energy drinks, coffee. I bring in bakery items from different local bakers every week to highlight, and that's all complimentary and just part of the customer experience. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, very, very quickly there of who I am and what we've launched, Marcia.
I love it. I love it. You've done a ton of learning, right? Tell us a little bit just about the startup process, because I think that's been pretty fun. It's just, it's a lot of people want to do it, they don't do it. So give us the top few learnings you had going through that process.
I will say it's scary. I will be honest and very upfront with that. Of jumping into this and deciding I'm going to open a business, especially after the safety of being in a corporate role for so long, it is scary. It is incredibly scary. And so the first thing is just trusting ourselves and believing in ourselves enough that we could go ahead and take that leap and just do it. You know, we didn't want to talk about it forever and say, oh, I wish, I wish, I wish. For us, it was, no, we're doing this. And so taking that breath, you know, holding it and then taking that jump in was incredibly scary, but I'm so happy we did. Now, anytime you start up a business, I think you could talk to any business owner. It's full of learnings along the way. And, you know, I have my MBA. So I did go through school for that to University of Iowa. So I do have my MBA. I'm also in a doctorate program through Marymount University. So I do have my doctorate of business administration and business intelligence, doing a lot of work, research. My dissertation, et cetera, is all around the service provider relationship. But it doesn't matter how much education you have in the world. You kind of throw that out the window when you're actually really doing it, because textbook scenarios is not what actually happens in the real world. But it did be very helpful when it came to creating the business plan, the business proposal. Even walking in asking for financing from the bank was a lot like Shark Tank. I'm not going to lie, you know, felt very cool, but a little intimidating. So it really helped with those skills. But just going through the process and learning all of the things you need to know. And, you know, again, they teach you some of it in school, but the real world is so much more. the requirements, the business licensing, especially running a salon and a auto repair shop, whole nother
Lot
level
of
of knowledge,
regulations.
a lot of regulations, a lot of
Yeah.
things, a lot of licenses. I hold so many licenses, I don't even know at this point. I never saw myself being a licensed salon owner, but here we are. Here we are. We're rocking it. So I would just say from that perspective, it's a lot of learning from textbook versus reality. And we've had some great mentors and people that have helped us along the way.
Yeah.
But definitely it's a new world. It's very, very different from corporate America. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's a great lead into how right now, obviously it's probably growing and changing and each week is different, but what is your role in the business right now? And how much time, when you think about your typical week, how much time do you get to work on the business? How much time are you in the business? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I am the principal owner. So we do have our business set up as a multi-member LLC is how we have it set up. So we do have our core. We own a couple of different LLCs at this point, but the core one here, we do that. I am the principal owner of it. So
Yeah.
it truly is a woman-owned and operated auto repair shop or a boutique care facility. My husband is also an owner as well, but again, he's a minority owner of it. And his role is very much so in the back of the house. It's his happy place. He loves working with vehicles, and the auto repair side of things is his happy place. The business side in the front of the house is my happy place. So our
Yeah.
roles are very different in that, very opposite ends of the spectrum. But both of us are needed to make this happen. You know, we need both
Sure.
levels of expertise to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I handle all of the marketing, the business, the licensing, the bookkeeping, the financials. I handle all of the payroll, the hiring, staffing. I do all of the traditional business owner responsibilities and leave the
Yeah.
technical side to my husband in the back of the house.
Perfect.
Now, you did ask about amount of time that it takes in that. I will be honest, you know, we are open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We're open on Saturdays as well. So we are probably spending I would say 75, 80 hours here at work, working on the business, helping it be successful, whether it's, you know, working with the customers and, you know, we're even coming in on Sundays if need to help out if customers need to bring their car, there's an emergency where we're here for them. And so it is a lot of time invested in it. I do find time during the day where I have people come in and help me run the front that I can concentrate on more of goal setting, the long-term planning, helping thinking about next steps and making sure that we're staying up to speed with the marketing and all the financials, working with our partners, CPA, the bank, et
Yeah.
cetera. But yeah, so it's a lot of time, but it's passion and we love it. I would not
Yeah.
want to do anything different.
Yeah. What kind of reactions are you getting from customers? Because this is different, right? So what's the feedback been?
The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, to be honest. Again, people don't know what to expect. You know, when you hear about us and you may hear me talk about the business, I think it's really hard to conceptualize what it's even really like. But when someone comes in the front door and their first reaction is, wow, this is an auto repair shop. It doesn't feel like it to me. I feel so comfortable. I feel at home. I feel welcome. I get all this free complimentary stuff. We're bringing that customer experience back, and people are loving it because it's something different. It's not the same old industry that you're used to. So it's been very overwhelmingly positive. There's always going to be areas for us to continue working on and fine tuning. You know, we're finding things every day, processes and such that we need to tweak here and there. But for the most part, it's been very positive. A lot of word of mouth getting around to people, getting a lot of marketing from that side of things, which I love.
Awesome. I love it. I want to tag on to that, but before I don't want to leave customers and clients. Tell me percentage wise, men versus women.
You know, you would probably be surprised that we're about 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
I know you'd think about our business model, and really we are here for our customers that we target are going to be those who are often underrepresented in auto repair, or maybe who don't feel comfortable in a normal auto repair situation, whether that be women, business professionals, elderly, minorities, you know, new drivers. Those are the people that don't feel comfortable, or they feel like they've been taken advantage of, or they just don't have the knowledge to feel like they understand what's being said to them. And there's
Yeah.
such a level of fear and stress with that. And that's really what we're here for, is for those people. We're take care of you. It's about transparency, trust. We got you. We're taking care of you. And you would think naturally that it would be probably more women, right, that are coming in
Yeah.
with that kind of a
Yeah.
business model. But no, it's about 50-50 right now. And I love it. We have more traditional type. You think about the stereotypical male who may be more comfortable in the repair shop, but they're coming in as well because my husband is fantastic at what he does. He's an
Yeah.
amazing technician. He has a wealth of knowledge. He was a senior master. He can do gas. He can do diesel. He has extra certifications behind him, and he's fantastic. So we don't leave anybody, anyone is welcome to come here, and we're seeing just everybody from all walks of life, and it's fantastic.
Well, it must also guide hiring, recruiting, and how you train your team, right? So I'm imagining that you're training your techs a little bit differently than maybe they learned at school.
Yes, 100%. Which is why, when we're looking at recruiting and bringing people in, a lot of word of mouth is helping. We haven't had to market that we need any technicians in the back just because we've had an overwhelming amount of people reach out to us with interest in working here because the experience is so unique. But you are 100% right that when it comes to training and bringing people on, we call it the open bay way. Because it's all about that customer experience. It's about making people feel comfortable. It's about explaining what's happening to their vehicles in a way that everybody can understand it, basically bringing everybody to the same level. And so you need to meet the people where they're at. And so that's a skill. That is a huge skill to have, is to be able to have that customer service, be able to talk to people, understand, make them feel comfortable. And that is a big part of our training when we bring people on. It's how to handle those situations. Auto repair is important. The nail technician side, knowing the technical skills is very, very important. I will never say different, but you really have to have that extra level of wanting to care, wanting to support, wanting to help people. And that's most important to us versus the profit or the number of cars that we have coming through the shop.
Sure. Awesome. So you've talked about a lot of opportunities. So it may be hard to narrow this down a little bit, but every business owner that I talk to is growing through something, right? New stage, new level, new challenge, new transition. So what are you guys growing through right now that's demanding the most of you at this point in your startup?
Mm-hmm. I would say right now it's taking the most amount of our attention is definitely just growing the staffing side of things. We did launch in business is great. It's a great problem to have. We have a lot of interest and a lot of people that like to come see us, and we're almost growing. I'm not going to say too fast, but we're growing very quickly, and we're having to keep up with that from a staffing perspective, bringing people on, training them our way to make sure that nobody loses out on that experience that's so important to us. So that's kind of really what we're going through right now, is how do you continue and grow sustainably and make sure that you're bringing your, employees and your staff with you while also, reaching for the stars. We want to, I have a very ambitious growth strategy. So I am kind of juggling the current, what we're doing now and the goals we have in front of us with that long-term strategic vision of where I would like to take the company and the business. But it's kind of juggling that, right? You have to do that. It's a juggling act always of thinking about the future, but making sure that you're doing everything you need to today to meet the needs of your employees and keep them happy and healthy and wanting to come to work every day.
Yeah, 100%, which leads into my next question. So you alluded to big goals, big visions. What's that look like? What's the next 3 to 5 years look like?
Oh, next 3 to 5 years. Well, I would really like to open some additional locations. We are starting off here. Our flagship is in East Moline. And it's such an interest. It's so interesting to me that this is a gap in the market. And you wouldn't think it that way, right? There's thousands of service providers for auto repair throughout the Midwest and the Quad Cities, et cetera. There's such a large amount of them. Everyone has a car. And so there's a need for that. But it just really kind of boggles my mind that there's such a gap in the market, that this doesn't exist, that we are unique, and that the mission and what we're doing and how we're treating people is so rare. And so to me, this mission is important because nobody should feel intimidated getting your car taken care of. This should not be a stressful situation for anybody. I realize it's a large purchase. Your vehicle is often your second largest purchase you have in your life outside of a mortgage. And it can be stressful, but we're here to help take that stress away and make it as easy and simple as possible. And if I can take that mission and we can take that and spread it to more people and be able to bring this comfort and take the stress away, I would love to see that happen. It's a long-winded answer for me to say that we would like to open more additional locations once that we are sustainable here in East Moline. And once we're ready to, in about 3 years, I would like to look at a second location, especially once we have, proven revenue behind us and our proven track record. So 3 years, I would like to open a second location. 5, I would like to have multiple here in the Quad Cities, and we would like to actually take it and expand it from there, whether that be, towards the Des Moines area, Iowa City, or towards Chicago. I just think there's
Yeah,
such a need. If we can just, I love the comment of I am here to disrupt the auto repair industry. And, we're ready. We're ready to take that on.
I love it. I absolutely love it for so many reasons. Um, so you talked about obviously to build and scale, right? You've got to have the team to do it. You mentioned that technicians are coming to you. How are they hearing about it? Tell me about that because they're so hard to find. There's such a
Yeah.
shortage. How are they finding you?
A lot of them are coming through, whether it be social media and word of mouth, to be honest. I do quite a bit to post out there, whether it be Facebook, TikTok, just kind of talking about who and what we are and what we represent. And it just resonates with a lot of people, especially for those who, again, are underrepresented as a technician role. I'll be transparent that the first technician we hired in the back is a woman. And she had gone through, she has her license and she has her degree, and she could not find a position in any other location. She was struggling to get anyone to even pay attention or call her back. And so for me, she reached out and she's like, I love your mission. I love what you're about. I would love to talk to you and explain what I can bring to you. And again, she's fantastic. She has all the licensing certifications, the education, and she's exactly what we want, what we need. So we're getting some people like that are like, we love the concept. We want to work with you. And then just word of mouth, to be honest. We have some
Yeah.
people that have walked in that have either had their vehicles repaired here and, they've gone home and talked about it. They have family members that may be technicians at other locations that really would like to work in more of this environment. We're very family friendly, very focused on the customers, and just, it's not so much about the upselling side of things. It's definitely about taking care of the customer. And,
Yeah.
and it's just a fresh way of doing business. So, um,
Yeah. When I coach clients through recruiting, we talk a lot about the comparison between recruiting as marketing, right? It's just you're looking for someone different. You're in
yeah,
marketing, you're trying to build a relationship with a potential client. And on the recruiting side, you're building relationships with
yeah,
potential candidates. So
yeah.
it's a great marketing strategy. So you're growing, you're creating a buzz and you're growing both marketing and recruiting. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
What does all this mean to you personally?
This is, it's hard to describe. What it means to me personally is this is such an important mission to me. Being a woman, I worked in corporate, I worked in a very male dominated company. And, and I led a women's resource group within that company. And so for me, being able to take the things that I talked about, the things that are important to women, that we need to get more visibility, more opportunity, and being able to actually live that truth and coming to market with a business that has the exact ideals and everything that we talked about, or I would talk about in meetings, being able to live that life is insanely fulfilling. And like I said, I'm so passionate about this space, and it's just a dream come true for both me and my husband to be able to do this. So personally, it makes my heart full that
Yeah,
we can inspire people, help people, create those relationships. Oh, it is just fantastic.
I love it. What's it going to mean to you to expand when you open the next and the third and the fourth?
Well, and the thing is, as we continue opening more locations, I never want to lose this touch points we have with it, right? I never want to grow too big or do too much or go after too ambitious, shall we say, that I lose truly the core of why we're doing this and what we're here for. And I love Bob Chapman was a previous CEO, and I'm not going to be able to say the quote exactly, but I can give you the idea of his message is that success is not measured purely on profit. That really success is much more about how your employees, how happy are they, how comfortable, how engaged they are. That is where success comes from. And to me, that is 100% what we live. And it really resonates with me because it's, the number of cars we get in a day, the amount of our repair orders, all these things. Yes, the financial side is important for any small business, but truly, if we can create an environment and have a spot where our employees feel like safe and comfortable and happy and know that they're taken care of, they don't have to worry about layoffs, pay a livable wage so they're taken care of. To me, that is truly success. And we want to give back to our employees and just make a great life for them. So I said, I don't want to ever lose sight of that as we grow bigger. I never want to get to the point that profits will ever be more important than those relationships and that feeling with our employees.
Awesome. As you look back, just as far as you are now, what's been the biggest roadblock that you've had to overcome?
Oh, I will say just the learning curve. I wouldn't call it a roadblock necessarily, but I think it's just a learning curve of having to understand all the licensing requirements, the regulations, going through inspections and all that can happen. We purchased an older building here for our first location. It's in East Moline. And having to work through, the renovation process, the permits, working with the city, doing all of those fun things that I'm sure every business owner listening to me is probably going like, yes, that is a lot of fun. So it's not roadblocks, but it's definitely been little bumps in the road that we've had to work through, and I consider it learning. I'm learning something new every day, something that we have to do, all the accounts that we have to have set up and all the different federal, state, revenue sites, all those fun things. Like I said, not really roadblock, but definitely learning. And as we open our next location, I'm sure there'll be additional learnings, and I'll probably find out from that perspective that there's all these other accounting rules and things that I need to be worried about. But yeah, that's just kind of working through the process, and learning it for the first time has been
Yeah.
probably the most challenging.
Yeah. So we talked about what, obviously there's a lot that makes you unique and different from your competitors.
Yeah.
So far, what's the number one marketing strategy that's brought you the most business?
Word of mouth. Just from the very first moment, before we even opened our doors, we had a woman stop in who needed some work done on her car. And, we weren't open for business yet, so we weren't able to do any official repairs, but my husband took care of her anyways, just goodness of his heart, that kind of stuff. And from there, just kind of spiraled I won't say spiral out of control, but from there, just that natural word of mouth and the relationships that we built with people has been probably the most helpful. Outside of that, we've gotten a lot of natural marketing, which is really nice, that maybe not a lot of other businesses may get, whether it be because we are so unique and the business concept doesn't really exist today. So, we get some attention from the local news sites, different newspapers, etc. So that has helped also organically market. Outside of that, it's social media. I love to bring people behind the scenes and show them what we're doing here to kind of learn who and what we are. And I think those are kind of the key things that have really helped us.
Yeah. That's a great lead into, let's talk about, you could call it your sales process, but your customer service process. So when someone first reaches out, they've got a need, what does that look like? Whether it's on the boutique style side or the service side, what can they experience? And, where do all your leads come from? Is it they stop by, they drop by, they call to make an appointment? What's that look like?
It's kind of, yes, all of the above. We're on Yelp, we're out on Google. We have scheduling links out on Google and on Yelp. We have our phone numbers, of course, everywhere. So customer and the leads do come to us from all these different locations, whether it be word of mouth calling us. We get a lot of messages through Facebook and through TikTok, Instagram, those kind of locations as well as organically. People will just stop in and just want to check out and see what we're about. So the leads come from all those different areas, but really, no matter where they're coming from, we treat them all the exact same way. It's about making them feel comfortable, making them feel heard, listening to what's happening, what is going on, what is the problem, what is the concern. And then from there, again, it's just understanding them. It's amazing how much just making people feel heard is such a big differentiator in our area. And then from there, it's just walking them through the process, being very open, being very transparent across the board. I'm very upfront with our pricing strategy. I'm very upfront with the timelines of that, our scheduling, etc. And people just respond very, very well to just having open, honest communication and just being upfront with people. So it doesn't matter what side of the house that it's on, whether it be on the nail side, whether it be on the auto repair side of things. We treat everyone exactly the same. They come in, they're welcomed, make sure they feel comfortable, offer them a beverage and a little bakery treat, because everybody, the saying that fed people are happy people. I feel like I was meant to be a Southern lady, because I am pushing food off on anyone who walks in the door. I am a food pusher. I'm like, come on in, have a seat, get comfortable on the couch, grab a book, and let me bring you some, an ooey gooey cake and a little cup of coffee while you're waiting. No, but that's just who we are. Is again, that honesty is so important, and being transparent.
Excellent. And you've described who your typical customers are. Really, it's broad, right? Mm-hmm. And like you said, anyone who's somewhat underserved. Awesome. I love it. You want to move into some rapid fire questions?
Absolutely. I hope these aren't too hard, because I love it. I hope it's not like the show with the hot wings, where they start throwing questions at you, or you're making me eat like hot wings. As long as it's not that, I'm game for it.
I'll be gentle, I promise. What's the key to success for you?
The key to success, it kind of goes right back to that comment I made about Bob Chapman that really relates to me. The key to success is having a, a a business where our employees are happy. They love to come to work, and when happy employees come to work, it's going to naturally come out in the customer experience, and it's going to make happy customers. To me, that is success.
What's one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
I'm sure it's the piece of advice that everybody has probably said before, but just lean in and do it. If you are thinking about it and it's scary, I like to say that growth happens when you're uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable, take the leap, do the extra things, go the extra mile. That's my biggest piece of advice. Lean in and do it because it's so rewarding, and don't overthink it. Just
I love it. Says the woman who probably has a very comprehensive business plan.
I am a planner. I am a planner. But when I say go all in and do it, but I mean making that first call and putting an offer in on our building. I mean, it was go. When we decided we were ready to do this, we started in September. We had purchased the building in November. So, it was only a couple months there where we had to, secure financing and do all the things and get the building and have the plan and the renovations and do all that stuff. So once we were ready, we were all in.
That's awesome. So you're a lifelong learner. You're still working on your third degree. What's a book or podcast that you're listening to or reading right now? Do you even get time to do that?
I don't have much. I have a giant library wall sitting in our lobby, and I wish I could say that I have a lot of time to read, but I do love podcasts. I am a big podcast fan, and I am a huge fan of Simon Sinek and anything he does.
Yeah.
His podcasts, his books are phenomenal. So I will give that generically that's kind of my favorite preference. I do also like Brene Brown. I really like her books. Pretty much any of them are going to be good when I do. Like I said, when I do have time, it's kind of a luxury. I hope to get back to.
And I love when they're both on a podcast together.
Yes. Yes.
It's very magical.
Absolutely.
Okay, speaking of magic, here's a fun question. If you had just a little bit of magic dust right now in your pocket and you could sprinkle it on one spot in the business, where would it go?
Oh man, accounting. I'm going to say this generically. You know what? I have a lot of skills. My husband has a lot of skills. If I could have some magic pixie dust and bring in a bookkeeper or someone to just take the entire financial accounting side away from me, it would be amazing because I'm learning every day, but it's not my natural skill set. But it's important, with any kind of gap, we just need to find the skill to help me there. But yeah, if I could have some little magic dust and bring in a great bookkeeper.
Yep. In
fantastic.
Terms of scaling, that's the first place I send clients. You've got to know them yourself, right? You've got to do the books and know what's in there. But then as soon as you can, hand it off to someone else because your time is much more valuable other places.
100%. It's why I keep my hair so blonde is because I have so much gray hair in it. And I'm going to attribute that to the bookkeeping side of things. There are days that I'm sitting there, especially as, reconciling everything that I'm like, I give kudos to the accountants of the world. They are truly magicians, and it is not my space. I'm much more comfortable on the marketing side of things, but here we are and I'm learning.
Yep. Surround yourself with good people. You'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we move into the final question of the day, how can people find you?
Well, they can find us in a couple different locations. Our physical location is 807 13th Street in East Moline. You can stop in anytime and check us out. Even if you don't need anything done, stop in and meet us. You can also we have a Facebook page, and it's Open Bay Auto QC. We also have a webpage with the same openbayautoqc.com. We're also on TikTok, all under the same handle. So check us out. I will be very upfront that my 18-year-old daughter is running our TikTok account most days. And so sometimes the content is a little fun and unusual, but I'm rolling with it because I'm old enough to. TikTok is probably not my best friend either, but again, my daughter is doing that. So it's a fun channel to kind of find out what we're really about.
Awesome. Surround yourself with good people. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
I have a TikTok. I don't even watch it. Someone else does it for me. Well, Wendy, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. For those of you listening, save this show. So many little tidbits in there that Wendy shared with us. You're going to come back and want to watch it again. Be sure and like and subscribe to the page so that every time you drop an episode, you're aware. Thank you to everyone who's listening. And thank you, Wendy, for spending time with us today. This was super fun. And I'm excited to get in there and get my car worked on and pamper myself a little bit. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing me on and letting me talk about my passion project. Obviously, I could talk for days about it, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely.